dry because then we don't know about the repartition of the humidity. And then I will have, well, first experiment, very, very simple. I will put some leaves as being a kind of stencil. So this has plenty of tannin, but not all of them will transfer any color actually. It is just a kind of stencil, and we will see if there's a transfer or not. So okay.
Beautiful.
And then a little bit of madder.
Maybe to use a stick in between.
Pardon?
To use a stick in the middle. Your stick.
No. Well, actually,
Okay.
you do it, or you teach me, but I'm not interested on that. So, of course, I don't want to copy you. I want to explain what's exactly happening. So it could be a stitch, but then not in this one, of course. You understand? So here the problem is, okay, let's continue. The problem is the contact, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I will try to keep it in contact as much as I can with those rubbers. Could be also, well, it's a bit difficult. That's a crucial point, the contact, you know. So of course for the contact, traditionally people did use things, but now it is kind of what they call bundle. So a kind of mummy, you know. So that we bury. It's, I would compare that to, you know, the ndop in West Africa, in Cameroon. There was an antique tradition with indigo, which was interesting. They were kind of doing tie and dye with indigo plants, the raw indigo plant, and they did bury that in the forest at some regions. At some regions of the forest, the cellulose was decomposed, you know, in the humus, in the soil, and it was highly decomposed into the form of glucose, sugar. So that's the reason where the insect, you know, have plenty of sugar in it, so people eat also insects sometimes. And that's very interesting because then by when they bury that indigo plus textiles with the bundles, there's a kind of this solution of the indigo by the effect of sugar, which is transferred to the fabric. So it is called the ndop, the real one, I mean the traditional antique thing. So that's extremely clever because the conditions in the soil were giving the chemistry of the transfer. Actually, the chemistry of the transfer for this one will be just that of the mordant in contact with the fabric, and no, mordant in the fabric in contact with the powdered plant. Of course, sometimes the contact is good and sometimes not. My stencils are damaged by maybe rolling because they are not fresh leaves. So all these parameters, I would say, to summarize, that this is physics. You know, if your leaf is soft, it will not break like if the leaf is dry. So actually mine will break and so on. So all these things, it's out of purpose for this class. You will learn that by yourself very, very easily by going to the different classes. because the humidity is already in.
Of course.
So it's not that of bringing humidity.
Yeah,
Could be in any
that's
oven,
right,
any oven, same.
Yeah, that's why people use plastic. Yeah. So,
You want me to try with a microwave?
It's also possible, yeah, but only the we should only. It can be very good, but only that we should take care that it's not dry.
Okay, I have my old couscous pot here, and I will put hot water in it. And then I will take my mummy and protect a little bit like this, like it is, and then it takes a bit of time. So I will boil my water and I will have a kind of hot chamber, hot humid chamber. At this step I must tell you that I was following some recommendations of some textile artists doing those ecoprints. So of course the steam is not really acting as an oxidizing agent like it is in some other practices. It is just to act as a kind of heater. So it is heated by steam, but in a way it is not that steaming effect which is oxidizing and so on. So it is just kind of cooking system, in fact. Except that we can imagine we have big quantity of fabric and a small quantity of water, and the repartition of the heat could be done by some oven, but because we have the humidity included in this oven, it will not dry and burn. Okay, that's it. So this is the system here, and now but then alternatives are very important. The dry processes are I would say kind of experimental, like new processes. So most as possible of simultaneous effects. You will see later other experiments. You will see that it could be also that of not drying the mordant, not fixing the mordant, but being confident that the contact of everything could give that. So compressing the step by step. So this is a long step by step, and this is shortening the processes like kind of alternative and experiment. So of course the very well-known Ecoprint is okay. So that's the so the stencil effect. Of course you can see here it is kind of obvious. So now we have to wash and see if it's a real dye. So I mean if we can rinse and wash correctly. So we'll have a first rinsing and go to the sink. So there's a lot of dust. So that's one of the problematic of the sink. And now I have to rinse the sink to see how I can make the pattern appear. Because remember, the whole thing is mordanted, so I have to be in a hurry to rinse. So I will come immediately. I will do that and come back. Just to give an idea, of course, we can apply the powders, so it will be in contact with some parts of the mordant, and then we will have some some kind of dye effect, so that's about the contact. So there's a big community of people doing that by having different coats, like for example those blankets full of color or full of mordant, or different mordant, one being on the fiber and one being on the blanket, and different things. So that's a kind of grammar by itself. Of course you understand that if we put something reactive like a second mordant, it will change the color and so on. So in that case the leaf is just a stencil, so that's the only thing we can get from these leaves, but some leaves also have tannin and different components. So of course we should develop that point, which is not my specialty, so I let you see that, well, just putting the powder and humid conditions will transfer the color, but we have plenty of caution to make beautifully, of course. So among all different possibilities, now I would like to consider some possibilities, for example, to get some indigo pattern, dry system for indigo pattern. Why? Well, indigo is a special vat, a bit impressive for many people. You have to take care of your vat, you have to have plain dip, sometimes with resist or shibori or resist paste, different types. But then, shall I put my powder like it is here and get some patterns? We don't know actually. So I would like to share with you some experiments. So by this idea of putting in contact to get all effect by just a drop of water from the humidity of the fabric. So we were discussing this idea from the Ndop from Africa. So we could say that, well, the ancestors of eco-printers are all over the world, of course, and in the DOP system we put the indigo. The earth is full of sugar, and there are probably some alkaline conditions by preparing the fabric with some ashes or soda ash or something. So I have this idea of just putting fabric with nothing else in it. Then I will have a powder, a mix of indigo, sugar and lime. So I can put it locally, and then I will have my sandwich again with kind of a humid piece and try next steaming.